Hi everyone, and welcome back to Ways of the World, a brief global history with sources, as we continue our study of political transformations, empires, and encounters. And today our focus will be the steppes in Siberia, the making of a Russian empire. All right, so let's start with a map of the Russian Empire. From its beginnings as a small principality under Mongol control, Moscow became the center of a vast Russian empire during the early modern era. So what political and economic factors explain the pattern of Russian expansion shown here on this map? Well, the map demonstrates that Russia expanded from its base around Moscow to the south and east, first in order to secure itself against the pastoral invaders who lived there, then moved further east to Siberia for economic reasons. All right, experiencing the Russian Empire. So conquest was made possible by modern weapons and organization, and also brought devastating epidemics, especially in the remote areas of Siberia. The locals had no immunity to smallpox and measles. There's also pressure to convert to Christianity, and there's a large-scale settlement of Russian settlers in the new lands where they outnumbered the native population, specifically in Siberia. There's the discouragement of pastoralism, and many natives were Russified. All right, the Cossacks. So in the vanguard of Russian expansion across Siberia were the Cossacks, bands of fiercely independent warriors consisting of peasants who had escaped serfdom, as well as criminals and other adventurers. Here, the 16th century Cossack warrior Yermak is shown leading his troops. Why might the Russian state depend on Cossack armies like the one shown in the image, more on the periphery of its empire than near its administrative center? Well, Cossacks were fiercely independent warriors made up of escaped serfs, criminals, and other adventurers, like I mentioned. And this independence often put their loyalty into question, which meant it was best to keep them in distant regions where such independence might not impact the core of the empire. All right, Russians and empire. So with imperial expansion, Russians became a smaller proportion of the overall population, but politically dominant. There were rich agricultural lands, furs, and minerals that helped make Russia a great power by the 18th century. Their efforts to become westernized under Peter the Great, who ruled from 1689 to 1725. And they became an Asian power as well as a European one. Now, there's a long-term Russian identity problem. Expansion made Russia a very militarized state, and that reinforced autocracy. Also, there's colonization. That their experience was different from the Americas. The conquest of territories with which Russia had long interacted are a part of this, and that conquest took place at the same time as the development of the Russian state. Also, the Russian Empire remained intact until 1991. And that concludes our study of the steppes in Siberia, the making of a Russian Empire. I will see you guys again next time for Asian empires.